1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Demonic machines! Demonic machines! Demonic machines! Live! All right.
Hello, nobody. We're here and we're
Yeah.
back. Oh,
Yeah.
goodness. I'm going to do a live on my phone and see if anybody picks on or catches on. Oh, let's give it a minute or two and just we'll bullshit while we try to get it going and see if anybody shows up. Yes, excellent. Oh, that's a flattering angle. Okay, there we go. This is which episode of season 2 is this? I keep
have
forgetting.
no idea.
We are currently doing an episode of season 2, Demonic Machines Live. This episode is about clones, copies, and Jackin swag. Let's
And
see.
other
Other
trade
various
dress violations.
Other accoutrement. You know, it's accoutrement. There's plenty of things that we could discuss. Delicious
So-
treats.
Let's see. I was thinking about like what my progression through what I think about this topic just in general is.
Yeah.
And like how we started, and then I thought about like, you know, you read stuff in forums or whatever about like, oh well, Josh Scott started with a General Guitar Gadgets Bluesbreaker PCB and like modded those and
Yeah.
so did like everybody, right? I built like you know, what's it called? An electro distortion. That was the one circuit that I could build for like a long time. And I would just build those on these like, it wasn't even a PCB. It was
like breadboard, right?
it was even like more archaic. It was like something you'd see from like a pedal from like the 60s or something.
I
like
gotcha.
point to point kind of, but like it had I'm trying to think of what the posts are called. I guess we could just say they were like posts.
Yeah, I think
You
I
know.
know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and I would just like do different variations on the electro distortion. And I don't know if there's a pedal that is there was like a mass produced pedal that was the electro distortion. I think of that as like a DIY circuit. And I've never heard of anyone that's not like a boutique pedal company using the electro distortion circuit. No, well, I mean Earthquaker. That's what I want to say that's what the speaker cranker is an electro distortion.
Okay.
Yeah, I could be wrong about that.
I mean, it makes sense to me. I was gonna say I know that DoD has the Supra distortion that they had, but that was just a step up from their original distortion circuit that they put out. But wasn't that a copy of a Ross circuit anyway?
The Super Distortion?
Yeah,
the
the
FX55, right?
Yes, that one.
Um,
Or some sort of variation on it. I've read on online places that that's what that was either based on, or it was like built up from enough to make it kind of its own circuit. But I feel like a lot of the earlier distortion stuff that came out was more or less similar because there wasn't a lot of stuff out there, so people were just kind of trying to expand upon shit, like the Arbiter fuzz face, and then the Octavia, like they were like kinda, and then the Muff and stuff, like all that stuff, I guess similar.
Those are all
but
very
different
topologies, but they're trying to achieve a similar goal.
Yes, that's what I meant.
Yeah, so it looks like the Super Distortion is an op amp
Okay.
fuzz. I swear I saw the schematic a second ago, and I don't know where it went. Well, let's see if I can tell what this chip is. I can't read it. Oh well. But like the point is, like, I think everybody that starts out doing this,
Yeah.
is cloning something, to start with. And then
Yeah.
they start tweaking whatever they clone, and then they start figuring out ways to do it's like, they find out ways to do it like and put their own spin on it. Did the electro distortion come from Craig Anderton's book? That could, I think that actually might be correct. I've got that book somewhere around here. I'm not sure where, so I'm not going to look for it. But yeah, that's actually I think you're right. The electro distortion might originally be from Craig Anderton's book.
Michael Krause with the fire in the chat.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Whoa!
Yeah, right. If only we could have those old VHS recordings.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe one day there will be a show that we can do with both of us in the same room and a camera person and maybe some guests in the audience, like in the basement of Wayne's World.
Yeah. Yeah.
One day.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I'm totally down for that. We could do I was thinking we could do like a gritty reboot of Wayne's World.
Oh yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Who gets to be Garth?
Well, you have glasses.
Oh, hey, man.
It's the suck and cut. Whoa! Whoa, no!
Yeah, see, you're definitely Garth. And I'm, definitely Wayne. I mean, just look at me. Look, I mean,
hey,
hold on, let me
swing.
turn my hat around. If that said Wayne's World on it.
Which world? Which world? Woo.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I think the big part of tonight's episode is that I wanted to try and bring us back to the beginnings of what we started when we started doing the show, which was, musical equipment, pedals, musical culture associated around the effects pedals and stuff like that. Because I know that we branched into genres and other types of musical discussion, which is perfectly fine. But I know that the meat and potatoes of the show, the heart of it, was obviously pedals and talking about different types of effects and stuff. But yeah,
so, I think there is a point at which it's, and I don't know, I really hate that, that quote, it's some Supreme Court justice and they're like, I can't define pornography, but I know it when I see it, or something like that.
I think I've heard that phrase.
Yeah, so that's the only way I can think of it, is it's too, a clone goes too far. If I look at it, I can tell you if it's gone too far or not.
Oh yeah, I actually have. So I'm prepared tonight. I have several articles about things and examples of stuff to discuss. If I can get my computer to cooperate. Obviously people have seen Behringers come out with several point for point, I want to say, everything looks like they're trying to mimic the exact design aesthetically and obviously the circuit and stuff. When they came out with what was it? It was their copy of the Mutron biphase and the why can't I think of the name of it right now? The suboctave and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They put out a Big Muff too. I had the Behringer Big Muff.
I didn't know that they did one.
Vintage Distortion.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's a big metal box. And the battery just flopped around inside of it. It was awesome. I bought it at this country music store.
It would be at a country music store, wouldn't it?
Uh-huh. And yeah, I bought that, and I bought a Behringer graphic equalizer. And then I started the first band that I ever led.
Yeah. What was the name of that band? Pray tell, my friend.
Draff.
Draff.
Yeah. DRAFF.
I was about to say, is it like giraffe or like a play on giraffe?
It's a play on giraffe, like the animal. Like we
Yeah.
were really into like mastodon and other big animals.
Got you.
Like, and so like we even had like this whole like lore of like what kind of animals we were, like what kind of giant animals we were.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was ridiculous. It was, like, fucking good lord.
That makes me think of Ryan from 60 Cycle Hum with his band. I can't remember what the name of it is.
Ghost.
Yes, where they got the dinosaur stuff on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, we were kind of like that, except we all wore like drag in some form or fashion.
Yeah.
And played just like the heaviest noise we could possibly like make.
Sometimes that's the best way to do it.
So copying something that's no longer made is like doing a full-on like trade dress and everything. So like I'm addressing this comment.
Yes.
So like a Klon centaur, for example, like
Yes.
is it fine to make something that looks like a Klon centaur in every way? Like, is it more important that you let people know, like Warm Audio, they don't make it a secret that like their stuff is made by Warm Audio.
Yeah.
But
at the same time, they have like the exact trade dress all the way down to the knobs and like the design and even like
their
everything.
Mics and like yeah.
Like I have this one article that I opened earlier. It's from October of last year, but it's talking about how they have their under 200 true to original clones of like the Klon Centaur and the Hermida Audio Zen Drive. And the images that they have, I don't know if you can pull up any images to show anybody, because I don't know how the hell to do any of that. But like, if you saw these and you didn't like, you were just like at a glance, you'd think it's the exact same thing as the originals. You know what I mean? Like literally, it looks like the exact same thing. I mean, now obviously, if you pay more attention to it, you see there's slight differences. But like with their Klon, they even have the exact same box as, And yes, that is a valid point. If you know it's a copy, technically it's not counterfeit. But if you're copying the trade dress and like the exact image and aesthetics of it, it gets into murky waters there. Because if you were a trademark lawyer or something, I mean, yeah, if it's something that's not available anymore commercially, I can see people arguing, well, it's not commercially available, so there's no conflict. But what if that company or somebody that acquired that trademark was trying to do a launch of it and they were discouraged from it, or they had difficulty getting their shit out there because there was already this like true to form, perfect, almost one-to-one clone of that particular thing,
Yeah. So, being an anarchist, I feel like I come from this like completely bizarre angle that a lot of people don't really think of like as their default. Like, because I don't really think intellectual property should be a thing.
Yeah.
Like I think ideas should be like free moving, and like it shouldn't be like you shouldn't have to be guarding an idea and making sure that you can always profit off of it every time the idea is used. And instead we should create a society in which everyone is provided for because of the ideas that we all share.
Yeah, I understand that. And I agree. It definitely, I feel like if it were more like that, it would be open to like, oh, hey, well, here's this design. It's almost like open source type of stuff where people can expand on it or do alterations. Like everybody knows what a rat is, and almost almost every company that I'm aware of has some sort of a variation of that particular thing. So I would almost consider the Rat to be like an open source design at this point, similar to like a Big Muff, because almost everybody. I mean, when I started doing circuits, I mean, I'm not a pedal designer or builder, but like when I did DIY stuff, I started looking at those circuits to begin with because they're very well known and they're not super, super crazy depending on which muff you're going for. But that's a whole nother story. But I see where you're coming from with it, and I agree. But I was just pointing out in terms of like the business world when it comes to music equipment and shit like that.
Yeah.
Because that's obviously you're going to have lawyers that are like,
I see an empty store. Time to open a Spirit Halloween.
you know?
Yeah. Those fucking lawyers opening Spirit Halloween.
Yeah, you know, right?
Wait, hold on. Where's my ukulele?
Wait. I beat you to it.
Oh, did
I have your ukulele.
No, my ukulele has 8 strings.
I don't know any chords. This was my grandfather's. Copyright's bullshit, so are trademarks. Everything should be open source for me and you. We can make a better place for everyone. And if you don't like it, then fuck you. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Yeah.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and folks of all kinds. Welcome.
That, ladies and gentlemen.
That's how you do a show.
That's how you do a show. That's what the show's called. Or something.
It's called ukulele time. Oh, yeah.
Ukulele time. Oh, man, we need to, like, get, I don't know. I need to, like, blow up and make a ton of money, and then like I can get the real StreamYard subscription.
Yeah.
You know, and then we can have like stingers and stuff.
Well, hopefully whenever I find a new job, I'll have a little bit to contribute. Or if more people are aware of our Patreon, they could help contribute to the show as well.
Yeah, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/demonicmachines. Check it out.
You could put a banner on the bottom of the screen, right?
Yeah. I can do that.
And yeah, Michael, I agree with you. It does kind of feel like stuff becomes open source if enough people copy it. Especially nowadays.
And where is it?
Open my notes back up.
We must consult the notes. It's time for the notes.
But I did want to take a moment to say that I think that there are big things happening in the music scene in terms of pedals and such, like these iconic brands finally coming back and being managed and created by companies that appreciate the legacy and really just want to pay homage and honor to the original companies. Like obviously a big one is the DoD Digitech coming back with people that were from the original launch and also people that worked through it when Harman owned them. And then the most recent one that I can think of is Ross. That's now is Ross under license to JHS for manufacturing, or is it like it's its own separate thing?
I'm not sure. Let's see.
Because that was something I wasn't 100% sure of. Oh, wait, let's see. I got the article right here. The headline reads,
"It's not a replica or a clone, it's the actual thing. JHS Pedals revives influential gear brand Ross Electronics and recruits John Mayer, Brian Wampler, and Robert Keeley for a new documentary."
John Mayer.
Hey, I mean, lover hate John Mayer. John Mayer does kind of have that notoriety to bring attention to mainstream folks, get them to pay attention,
I know. I'm
Your
just
body is a wonderland.
Oh, I don't want us to get like copyright claims, so maybe I should stop singing.
fuck that. You sing that to your heart's desire because John Mayer,
Bon
John
Scott and the John Mayer trio.
the John Mayer explosion. Oh man,
Oh,
that's what I'm gonna call my next band. I'm gonna call it
John
the
Mayer
John Mayer
explosion.
Explosion.
The JME.
Yeah,
That could work too, in a non-ironic way or an ironic way.
I know, right? Well, it would be like a sloppy punk band.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You just do sloppy punk versions of John Mayer. Okay, so here's the concept. You take the lyrics to John Mayer songs, make
Uh-huh.
them offensive in, fun ways, so that it's like you're poking fun at John Mayer, but you're also making it fun. And then
Uh-huh.
you just write your own music and scream instead of singing.
Okay. Yeah, I could get behind that. Or like just use chord progressions. You can say "Shut up, John Mayer" to any white guy with a guitar at a party, and it will 100% upset them. Fuck yeah.
And then they'll break out and say,
Who says I can't get stoned? Me sitting in my house alone, smoking weed on my telephone. Who says I can't get stoned? You'll be like, shut the fuck up, John Mayer.
and then I'll be like, listen, I spent a lot of time in graduate school learning music theory so I could play these goddamn songs. You respect me. Fuck. And I've been to parties where it's like that as well.
John.
Oh, I did not combine Bon Iver and John
Bon,
Mayer.
I think it's Bon Iver.
Is it Bon Iver? Ooh. Ugh.
Yeah. I
My
mean, whatever.
apologies.
I mean, I'm not a dork, so I don't listen to that band.
Oh,
Shots fired.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
know.
I mean,
I know.
everybody. I'm sure people do kind of know what the Demonic Machines aesthetic is,
Oh, yeah.
but no, I don't. I don't hate on anybody that wants to use our pedals or watch our show or
Live Fast, Play Hard by Demonic Machines.
live fast, play hard, buy Demonic Machines, fight the capitalist machine,
Yes.
rage against the machine. Except
Yeah.
that's probably I don't want to get sued by Tom Morello.
I kind of have some beef with Tom Morello right now.
Really? Did you
Not
talk
like
to him?
not like personal beef, but like ideological beef. Like
Uh-huh.
I kept for the longest time I kept getting these fucking ads for the Tom Morello masterclass, and you can tell he's just taking the piss.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, so this is what you do, and he grabs a fucking cable, and you're just like, and he's like, and that's how you do that, and I'm like, why would I pay money to do that? And it's just, you could just tell. But the reason why it irked me is because for like all the shit that he talks about certain stuff, and then it's just like, yeah, give me enough money and I'll go in front of a camera and sell lessons for people to.
Yeah. I mean, Tom Morello has always seemed like. Well, I mean, people would say I'm like a leftist poser. I've had people on, and especially on TikTok, they're just like, "Oh, you're a capitalist," and I'm like, "Well, I mean, kind of. I have to be."
In the society that we live in, it's inherently important to be able to make money so you can survive and live, because things aren't set up the way so that you can just exist without needing to acquire currency.
Uh-huh.
Which is the
Right.
unfortunate part of it,
It's like, y'all know, give me money. Like,
all right, let me.
But-
oh God.
like Tom Morello, I don't know. I've heard stories of him just being like, "Do you know who I am?" To like wait.
It's a bad look.
Yeah, and I just like Zach De La Roca seems like he's a really cool guy.
Oh yeah, I think that's part of the reason why Zach didn't want to do the reunions to begin with, like at the very outset of
Yeah.
it. Because Zach was the one that would always be in the way of them recording new stuff or moving forwards with any of the reunion stuff. And I think it's because Zach was like, okay, well, we were influential when we were around. And yes, the music we recorded is still relevant today. So he didn't feel, in my personal opinion, he didn't feel the need to have new material because what they recorded is still so relevant. And I don't think he was really into the whole, like, I don't want to say nostalgia market, but that's kind of what was going on with those shows. Like, are they still together again? Like, I know they broke up and got back together like 6 times.
Zach got injured while they were on tour. And
is that why they did the Prophets of Rage? Because Zach got hurt?
Maybe. Yeah. And then, like, they were supposed to tour with Run the Jewels, and then the pandemic happened.
Yes.
And yeah, hold on, I'm gonna get more tea.
Oh, you're good.
Well, my friends in the audience, it looks as though Rage Against the Machine is back together as of 2019.
Whether they're actively touring or not. Let's see. So they went on hiatus again in 2011. And then they announced a world tour that was set to start in 2020, but delayed till 2022. So I guess they are touring. All right. Fair enough. That is an interesting point. And to the other point that I was trying to say about Zach's opinion on certain things, there were a couple different opportunities that I think Zach could have released. There was a solo album that he was working on with some production from Trent Reznor and a couple other artists, but he just never released it. Did you know that about Zach from Rage Against the Machine? There were plenty of opportunities, like there were sessions for a solo album that was produced by like Trent Reznor and shit like that, but Zach just never put any of that solo shit out. The only thing after Rage was
One Day as a Lion, right?
I really fuck with One Day as a Lion, and I wish that album with Joey Karam came out because they put out the EP, and I'm like, this is fire. This is fucking, like, if there was a full album of this, I would be so on board with it. And then they were touring, and they had Joey Karam from The Locust playing keys, and I'm like, yo, this is fucking sick. And then apparently, like, they said they recorded a whole album of shit, and then it just nothing because the Rage reunion happened, and then, which is a shame.
Yeah,
because that would have been awesome to see that full album. There is, though, as I've never mentioned, I was going to say, as I've said before, if you go on YouTube and you look up some of the live stuff with One Day as a Lion, there's like 1 or 2 really well recorded concerts. I don't know if they're soundboard or if it was just like a really good microphone and camera combination, but there's like over an album worth of material live in that show, and it's fucking awesome. And I wish I knew where it was still. I'd have to look for it again, but if we find it, maybe if we remember after the show, we'll post it in the description.
Have you heard, I think they're called Inside Out.
Yes, Inside Out. What weren't they like? They were like a hardcore band. Zach was in before Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah. And Rage Against the Machine was like a song, or it was like gonna be the name of their like upcoming album or something like that.
And then they split, and I think that's when he met the rest of the dudes in the group, and they put together Rage Against the Machine. I could be wrong though. I'm like ChatGPT. Some people, persons, and historical events I talk about may be complete bullshit. Just a disclaimer.
Yeah, I think that is true that Zach hung out with the Zapatistas.
Yeah, Zach seems pretty fucking cool. That's what I was getting at.
Yeah, I mean, I do, and I get, like, because people are always like, oh, they're not really communist because they play Coachella and shit like that, you know? And I think that's a valid claim. I mean, I see why people say that, but like also what they say is like we're trying to get our message out there, you know. And if we just played underground punk venues, we wouldn't really be. We would just be preaching to the choir, you know.
Well, I think the argument could be made. I mean, like, I've heard that argument made before with certain black metal groups like Dimmu Borgir or Cradle of Filth, where they're like, oh, well, we're signed to this major label because we get the most exposure from it. It's not about the money or this or that. But I was going to say, I mean, Rage's first album was on a major label. So, I mean, I get what they're saying, but at the same time, it's like, you know, you got to, that's all preference for your ideals. Like if you really feel that strongly about your stuff, you would think you wouldn't fall into that, because it kind of in a way betrays what you're talking and trying to, convey message wise. But I mean, like you said, and like we both talked about, like the society we live in, money's unfortunately a necessity, and the message is better spread on a major label because more people are going to have exposure to it. So fair enough.
Yeah, I don't know. Everything's complicated, and I often have difficulty talking to people that can't just acknowledge that things are complicated.
Oh, absolutely. The world is endlessly complicated.
I mean, when someone is like certain that they have the answer about something, I'm like, I don't want to listen to you. Like, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You would have some semblance of doubt if you knew what you were talking about. Like
accurate.
That's what is that? The Dunning-Kruger effect. I knew I anyway, I'll be right back. I gotta check my tea.
You're good. Check the tea.
Check my tea.
So chat, since we have a robust group of people, I have a question for y'all.
I was full of the pride. I was up in the run with the lack thereof.
Leave me empty inside. All of my doubt, I'm turning inside out. Find nothing but faith in nothing. Gonna put my heart in a blender. Watch it spin around to a beautiful on rendezvous, and I'm through with you. Oh, sorry about that. So it's like a. Okay, so I completely got derailed. So why don't y'all in the comments share? I'm robust, is what I'm saying, Mike. What are your thoughts on the revivals of vintage brands like the DOD, not DOT? Jeez, DOD, Digitech, and Ross. Like, do you think it's a cool thing that these vintage companies have a revival, or do you think that it's a bad thing? Do you think it devalues the collector's market? Do you think that it's cool that these circuits are being made by companies that respect the property and are trying to spread these awesome effects that were foundational? Like, what do y'all think in the comments about that? And after that, we're going to move on to the next segment, which I think we're just about where we need to be for it. Maybe a little over, but if anybody has any comments on that, we will read them out. But yeah, the next segment is obviously we're talking about certain companies like doing clones and things like that. I don't remember exactly when this happened, but Behringer didn't they acquire the trademark for Moog?
I believe that's true. Yes. You might know more about that than me, though.
Yeah.
Like, I know you're more in the synth world than I am.
I'm going to pull up the article real quick. And I'm also going to share this comment because it's a valid point. Okay, I'm going to sit up because I'm like lounging right now and I'm not near my laptop. Oh, fuck. Hit myself in the face and shit. Yeah, so there was a lot of people that were concerned when they found out that I don't think Behringer per se, but the parent company in music acquired Moog. And there's been articles and a lot of waves where people are talking about how it looks like there's been a lot of people that have been laid off, like they're downsizing from the American company or the American manufacturing of it in North Carolina, Asheville, North Carolina. Let's see. Newspaper says that Moog has eliminated possibly more than half the existing jobs, including most of the production positions. And this article is from Synthtopia, if anybody's interested. Yeah, apparently there hasn't been any official word on the layoffs, but the argument was people were saying that there's a lot of like tariffs and taxes and things like that that are making it less profitable to be able to obviously make money on their investments. And I think it's a huge fucking bummer because how are you going to buy a company that already has people that have been making shit, dedicated, etc., and then boom, fuck you, bye bye, and then send all the production across seas where it's cheaper. You know what I mean? It's just, I feel like that's like a big slap in the face to all these people that have been with the company for however long it's been. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I agree with that comment, Mike. Let's see what this one is. Also, Lucky, I don't know if you know, but your mic is off, it sounds like.
Oh yeah, sorry. It's because my tea was
You're
dripping
good.
into the cup and it sounded like someone was peeing, and I was like, that's weird. And so I muted my mic.
We were trying to avoid a journal situation where people were hearing somebody peeing. Yep. Yeah, pretty much. You hit the nail right on the head, Mike. I mean, I'm sure everybody was concerned that this could possibly happen when In Music acquired Moog, but just the fact that it's actually happening.
All right, I got more tea.
It's tea time. Gonna drink the tea.
So now is the part of the show where we talk
drink
about something
tea.
else.
We're not
sponsored by anybody. So go to demonicmachines.com, buy you some pedals. If you just want to donate some money to our cause, you can go to our Patreon. Also, me and my dog are trying to move to Portland or just move somewhere because we're kind of like
stuck
in a tight spot right now. So, you know, if you want to like donate to it's a GoFundMe page, or you can just hit me up for my Cash App.
Yes.
Also hit up Deuce for his Cash App. If you
hit me up on Instagram at deuce.binary if anyone's interested in donating to the I'm out of work and I need to pay bills and shit fund, or if anybody needs some sort of session bass, synth, guitar, vocals. I mean, I suck at programming drums, so don't ask me for that shit. I mean, I'll do it if you pay me, but you're not going to like it more than likely. So, but yeah, I mean, I'll do whatever. I'll do voiceovers. I do like a cameo type of thing if anybody gives a fuck enough. I mean, I don't think I'm that cool, but some people are like,
"Yo, what's up, Deuce Bigelow? How you doing there, buddy?"
Shout out to John Celtronics. Always comes up with an interesting nickname for me.
Nice.
But I did just want to ask the chat, what are your thoughts on what's going on with the Moog trademark and In Music laying people off in America and sending their production overseas? Like I said, obviously people thought that was going to be a thing that might happen once it was acquired, but at the same time, there's some discussion where people are saying, well, that just means that the American-made Moog stuff is going to be significantly more expensive moving forwards because it's not going to be made in America anymore. Kind of like when DoD shifted their manufacturing, because they used to make it in Utah, Salt Lake City, Utah, I think.
Yeah.
And then obviously in the 90s they started shifting some of their shit to be manufactured, like with the grunge pedals and stuff, like the V2 and 3. All that stuff was coming out of China. Let's see.
I'm all for bootlegging.
Yes. See, I'm glad that we have more people to interact with tonight. It always makes it more fun for Lucky and I just to be able to talk to more people. So by all means, please comment, send whatever questions you got. Like we'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. I mean, we have an outline for stuff, but the main thing for us is just interacting with people. And this is just like the one day a week that me and Lucky get to chat and bullshit and hang out, you know, because we're on opposite sides of the U.S., so it's not as easy as you would think.
Yeah, you can tell by our lighting too. You can see that his lighting is mine's a little more yellow, got a little more yellow to it, and it's because I'm in the Southwest while he's in the Northeast. So you can see it's a little more of a white or like gray kind of light.
Yeah, we got that Breaking Bad light situation going on where it's just because of where Lucky's at, it's more of that like yellow filter. I got LED lights that are like, I really don't like them, but
yeah,
they're relatively bright and they work well, so fuck it.
It do look like Breaking Bad out here though. Like it's crazy. Like or or like Breaking Bad or like that, yeah, or like The Hills Have Eyes or The
Oh.
Devil's Rejects
Mm.
or like any of those like in the desert something's watching you and they're going to kill you and if a
I'm,
rattlesnake doesn't kill you.
I'm closer to the Wrong Turn movie series.
Haven't seen that one.
It's basically like mutant rednecks in the middle of the woods, whereas The Hills Have Eyes is like mutant rednecks in the middle of the desert.
Oh
I guess they
yeah.
wouldn't be rednecks if they're in the middle of the desert, would they?
I mean, what is a redneck? I've always thought of like a redneck as just being like yeah, no, totally. Like I don't know if you saw the meme that was who I forgot who was playing.
Wasn't it Poland versus like the thing
Yeah.
where it had the stadium on one side? It was like the cinema filter, the Mexican cinema filter, and then the other one was blue and like ridiculous. Yeah, rednecks are everywhere. Good
Yeah.
call.
I mean, I would say that. I mean, everywhere I've gone, there's at least a redneck.
Yeah.
So, I mean, because I'm kind of a redneck. I don't know. I always think of myself as a redneck, but like the commie kind, the socialist kind. Not the like.
They took their jobs.
I'm gonna shoot Bud Light. I'm gonna shoot this case of Bud Light with my AR-15. Dirt.
I still feel like that whole situation, like,
like, I don't know why. I mean, because Dylan Mulvaney is just so wholesome. And, like, there's no reason to, like, hate her at all. And, like, they sent her, like, I don't even think it was, like, a partnership. They just sent her, like, a 6-pack of,
with her on it.
Yeah, and, like, Kid Rock is like, a lot of people were like that. But yeah.
I think the big argument that a lot of those types of people were saying was, I guess the argument they were trying to make was, I don't know if Dylan went through with like the full transition, like surgical transition or something. And they're like, oh, you're just doing this to like get attention and make money and whatever. And I mean, if so, bravo, you're making money, you're getting attention. But like,
that's an extreme thing to do for money. That's
absolutely.
what I'll say about that. Like you'd have to be seriously mentally unwell to like be like, I'm gonna go through gender reassignment surgery. I don't know if like I don't think Dylan. I don't know. I don't actually. I'm not.
Well, that was.
Gonna speculate.
I think that was the whole thing that people that were opposed to it were trying to say is like, okay, if you're doing this and you're going to go all this way, why don't you just go all the way and then we'll be able to respect you more for it? But there's plenty of people out there that haven't done that can still identify as they choose.
Yeah. It's. I mean, it's no one's business. Honestly, is what.
At the end of the day, I think there's too much fixation on like people's personal stuff,
Mm-hmm.
Like, remember when you could just be yourself and it didn't matter any of the other extra shit? Like, oh, okay, that's how you feel? Cool, whatever. You like this kind of band? You like that kind? Like, people could just be like, oh, okay, that's your personal thing. That's your preference. Okay, whatever. Doesn't bother me. Not a big deal. I don't know. That whole situation's just like everything is just so hyper fixated, and I think in a way the media just kind of like blows everything up because it's all like the 24-hour news cycle and ratings, and it's just ways to pit people against each other instead of realizing that like the real problem is all the like senile, dementia-ridden fucks in charge of our country that are like destroying everything with like. Have you seen that meme where it's like, oh yeah, the Congress on dementia medication making decisions for the rest of us, and it's like la 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 la, and it's like the old lady riding in the car, la 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 la.
That's
accurate. Yeah.
I mean,
that's the real thing that people don't want to talk about. Like it's easier, I guess, for some people just to like shit on other people in the same situation as them because they're different, instead of being like, okay, well, why don't we all just put our shit aside and work together to like figure out how to change the shit, because the people up at top are just looking down laughing at everybody like, oh, we're just going to keep stealing your fucking money while y'all are arguing over Bud Light and if someone has a penis or not, like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the one interview that Lady Gaga did on TV where someone's like, well, there's been some speculation that you might have a penis, and Lady Gaga's like, so what if I do?
Yeah.
What difference does it make? Whose business is it if I have a penis or not? Why does anybody care?
Totally.
But
does Lady Gaga have a penis?
Yes.
That's their topic. No. No, I'm not gonna make that a ticker. I was
gonna say, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah, no. It's no one's business if Lady Gaga has a penis.
It really isn't, and I think that was the whole point. Is like people are allowed to have their own personal things. Everything doesn't have to be super. Like everybody doesn't have to know every tiny little facet of somebody's life, because as you grow, you get older, like you go through experiences, you learn from shit. Like you could start out one way, and then as you get older, the experiences that you have shape your reality and change the way that you perceive the world, and it also changes the way that the world, I guess, perceives you. But it's like life is growth. It's the biggest challenge you're ever going to have is life. So like, why shit on each other when you're just trying to move forwards through it, and we're all just trying to fucking survive? Like, yeah, people who fuck up and continue to make bad decisions and continue to do fucked up shit, by all means, call them out on it. But like, if somebody made a mistake when they were younger and then they realized that they fucked up and then they made the steps to correct it and they move on from it and they're a better person, I think that's the best thing you could ask for, is someone to learn from something like that. And just like, isn't, at the end of the day, don't we all want everybody just to be able to fucking coexist and get along with each other? Because like I said, we're all in the same boat pretty much, unless you're like Elon Musk or,
I mean, see, like, I feel like the idea of like yeah, I try to accept everybody, but like I have limits. Like,
well, yeah, if people are pushing awful shit, I'm not saying like if someone walks up to you and they're like, yeah, I hate this group of people because this reason, and you're just like, all right, yeah, whatever, cool. If you don't agree with them, obviously you can voice your opinion and be like, yeah, I don't agree with your viewpoint, and you can choose not to associate with people. But at the end of the day, I feel like it's just like I said, we're all existing in the same fucking moment in history, trying to just survive.
Yeah.
So it just would make more sense for people to put their shit to the side and work together to make a better future for everyone, instead of just like, oh, no, I don't like this, I don't like you. But
and how did we get on? Weren't we talking about clones?
We were. There's people who say that what? They're saying Jamie Foxx was cloned or some shit.
Jamie Foxx?
Yeah, that's relevant, right?
I mean, is this QAnon people or something?
That I'm not sure. I just remember there was a movie that came out called They Cloned Tyrone, I think.
Oh!
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you meant like there was a conspiracy theory that Jamie
Foxx
was
there is a conspiracy theory, because like they said that at one point he was like blind and he had brain damage or something, and he was in the hospital, and then like a week or two later there was a video that came out that was Jamie Foxx, but people were like, that's not Jamie Foxx. They're like, that's a fucking clone. And then like a week later the movie came out. So like it might have just been some big whole fucking like, hey, Jamie Foxx has a movie about being cloned coming out. Let's do something about it. I mean, the thing is with the way that reality is nowadays, like it's so malleable, because you could have a bunch of people just putting together shit, and as long as you have people that are going to push that out there and like propagate that information, like there's people who think that the moon landing was fake. You know what I mean? Like
the world is flat.
There's a whole bunch of different, you know what I mean? Like there's a whole bunch of different shit. You could make people believe certain things. You could make people believe that Josh Scott is a lizard person.
That
because the
is-
lizard pedal, the lizard queen pedal.
Is that the Dirtbox conspiracy? That
Maybe it
Josh
is.
Scott is a lizard?
Listen, the karmic law. That's why Josh put out the lizard queen so people knew without saying it.
Yeah.
Fucking
Dirtbox conspiracy.
Mind blown. So we discussed the ethical nature of recreating vintage effects already. Oh, hold on. Let's see what's going on here. Yeah, I've seen that one too. I mean, that one, I don't know about cloning being a real thing, but with science being as far along as it is, I guess it's plausible. But there are several different pictures of Fetterman that are inconsistent, like nose shape, ear shape, head shape, weird, like eye distance. Is it the same fly that was on Pence's head?
Oh, man.
Could you imagine?
I know, right?
That would be the, you know what? That fly is an actor.
Let's
You're like, let's get away from the weird shit and back onto the pedals.
I mean, it's cool. I was willing to ride this wave for a little bit.
Well, since we are talking about cloning, I personally feel like if you're making a replica, as long as you market it as a replica and you're not like, hey, this is our original circuit and we're going to put it out as our own, but we're going to use the exact same artwork and name and design as the other companies, like when Behringer puts out their stuff. Like, obviously, if Behringer buys the trademarks and the licensing and shit like that, then legally they have the rights to do that, one would argue. But, you know, like Mutron is still out there as a company. Mutron still makes effects. Mutron, I mean, for a while, I guess Mutron wasn't doing stuff. So Behringer's just like, yeah, fuck it, let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's, like, Mutron's still putting shit out. It's just not in the big, gigantic, old vintage style boxes anymore. So I think that's why Behringer was making those particular clones. Yes, Crisis Fly.
All right.
But you know what I mean? Like we talked about Warm Audio. If anybody hasn't seen Warm Audio before, look Warm Audio up. I've never owned or purchased any of their equipment, but you'll know exactly what we're talking about by like using the exact same trade dress and things like that.
They've got a Fox tone machine that's like that's like the exact OG, like fur covered deal.
But it says Warm Audio on it, right?
Yeah, it says Warm Audio Foxy Tone Box Fuzz Pedal.
It's almost like those eBay clones that are like the exact same thing, except it has their logo slapped on the bottom of it.
Warm Audio. They've also got the Mutation Phaser 2.
Ooh.
And the ODD.
Instead of the OCD, right?
Yeah, instead of the OCD. Hold on, let me see.
See if you can pull it up.
Yeah.
We've had a fun episode so far. I mean, we lost 3 viewers when we went into the weird like conspiracy shit, but
it's okay.
It happens.
Yeah, I don't care.
Oh shit. Yeah, see what I'm talking about, folks? That's like the exact same trade dress, especially the Mutation Phaser 2. Like, is there any way you could pull up the comparable like original designs so we could like 1v1 and show people? See, I don't know how to do any of this stuff, so you're like a wizard right now. You're a wizard, Harry.
Here's the.
Yeah, nobody cares that they copied OCD because that guy's a dick.
Yeah, fuck Mike Fuller, but.
I mean, I've never met the guy.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, fuck his politics, I guess.
Yep.
Is really.
See, check it out. That's the exact same fucking thing. It's just missing the Mutron logo on the other one. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But this So here's what they said. Here's their argument, right? Is that
Okay.
they're making this available for cheaper, so that people who want to get these effects can. So this is $500 plus $15 shipping.
But that's also a
for-
77 original, correct?
Right. And I'll tell you, as a pedal builder, that's all just snake oil bullshit. Like, and like this, I'm sure is just as good in every way.
Oh yeah.
The warm audio is, so, but it's only $150, $149, I guess.
Yeah.
What else have they got?
Oh, that jet phaser looks awfully suspect to me.
Yeah, what is that? I'm trying to remember what that is. There's a Zen Drive.
I can't remember the company that does the jet phaser, but I know that fucking box for sure.
Right? Yeah, and that's another thing too. Is that like, what is that a Roland effect?
It looks kind of like the original Roland. Yeah, it could be a Roland jet phaser. Let me see real quick. Let me try to look it up on my phone. And hi, Sam. Hello there, Rift Mountain. You're fucking late, but we love you anyway.
Okay, let's see.
All right, let me see. Jet phaser.
Let's see if it'll tell me what it's a clone of in the.
Wow, it is the Roland AP7 jet phaser.
Oh, how about that?
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep, that's jet more or less. I mean, this one looks like it has an extra switch on it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's very, very similar to the one that I'm seeing here for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks like I mean, so what do we think about? I mean, cuz like I understand that my pedals, not everyone can afford my pedals.
Yeah.
Right. And so I try not to like I'll give away a schematic. If someone really wants to see a schematic of a pedal that I make, they can just hit me up and I'll tell them, you know. But I don't know. Like I think maybe I'm just butthurt that I didn't think of it.
What the warm audio people are doing and stuff?
Yeah.
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 I mean, I see both sides of the argument. I see if you're the original manufacturing, like the original company that made it, and there's another company that's making it and it looks just like yours, except they changed one visual aspect of it and they haven't changed anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can understand being upset about that. That would be like if somebody took one of your pedals and just like put it out but had their own name on it but kept literally everything. Like let's say they take your Hulk booster, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh yeah, what if Demon Effects made a Hulk booster?" Ooh, that would put a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean though? Like that's I see it from that aspect, but I also see it from a schematic is a schematic. Like you can't do what the dude who makes the Klon used to do and just goop everything, because people are going to figure it out. If somebody wants to figure it out, they're going to fucking figure it out. Yeah. They're going to take the time. They're going to trace the circuit. They're going to figure out the capacitance and the values for all the stuff that makes the pedal, you know? So at the end of the day, I feel like something that exists, once it's sold and it exists, if anybody, like you said, if somebody wanted the schematic, you could send it to them. It's just the perk that they get from you making it is it's made by the original creator. It's made with care. It's made by hand. And if I'm not mistaken, don't you have some sort of a warranty on pedals that people buy directly from you? Something along the lines like if there's an issue, they can message you and you'll work something out and either replace it or help them fix it or figure something out.
Yeah. And
yeah,
you know,
so
that's something that I sometimes am like, God, why do I have this guarantee? You know, that
well, obviously, if someone like puts the wrong power to it and it's been explicitly stated several, like I have a few of your pedals and you definitely specify like, hey, this is the only power it takes. Don't use another power because it will fuck this up.
Yeah.
You know, so if somebody doesn't do their due diligence and they buy a product and they don't look at that shit, I kind of feel like that's on you, because that was more than obvious on the listing online, in the documentation, with the pedal in the box, like
Mm-hmm.
duh. And I agree partially with what Mike's saying.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like the look, that's for sure, and the smaller footprint is also nice with normal power requirements. Like I have a lot of the older DoD stuff that takes the little, like the weird headphone jack power supply, and that shit sucks, because then you have to get a fucking, either get a converter or an adapter or something like that, and sometimes it doesn't play nice with a power supply and all this other fucking shit. So I get all of that and I understand it, but to the same point, like I said, if like a company like Warm Audio was like, oh, we got the cow killer, it's it's a Warm Audio cow killer, I'd be like, hey, you want to meet me in this alleyway so I can fuck you up? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, totally. But yeah. So it's 7 o'clock now for me. I think we can end the. I'm having trouble plugging. Hold on. Let's do some questions in the comments.
Yeah,
We'll answer.
absolutely.
So Sam, man, I have trouble plugging in a pedal that says 9 to 18 volts. I'm always skeptical, and I don't want to rock it at 18 in fear of it blowing. I know nothing will happen. I just don't want to chance it. Yeah, so there is. You can kind of hear a difference in 18 volts of headroom and 9 volts of headroom, but it's so minimal that no one else is going to notice if you are running a 9. If you're running a pedal at 18 volts instead of 9 volts, no one in the audience is going to notice. So if it can take 18 volts, sure, give it 18 volts. Right.
Yeah.
But like, don't, if you've got an 18 volt outlet, to use.
Yes. Like I use on my guitar board, I have 2 preamp pedals. I have a Lone Wolf Audio doorstop, which is a Sun Model T kind of, that takes a regular 9 volt, and then I have the Catalan Bred SFT version 2. Not the new version with the like more accurate artwork, which kind of sucks, but I already have it. I'm not going to buy a fucking new one just because it looks cooler. But I run that at 18 volts, and you can definitely tell, like, there's a lot less compression, and it's a lot clearer sounding, in my opinion, at 18 volts. But that's also 9 to 18 volts as well.
Mm-hmm. So let's see. We've got another one. Stacia. What is the most known issue to happen to pedals when they don't work? What's the first go-to to check a circuit? So what I would say is there's usually like a protection diode. I wouldn't even say most pedals. I would say a lot of like the major brands all have like a protection diode in place.
Yeah. It'll short that diode out before it fries the rest of the board, right?
Yeah, so that'll happen.
It's almost like a surge protector.
Yeah, if you open the pedal up, if you blew something up, you'll be able to tell right away. Like, there'll be a smell.
Yep.
And like if a cap blows, then like it'll be blown up. Like it'll literally be like
smell. Can't you smell that smell? Mm-hmm. Sorry, little bit of Skinner for you there, boy. Yep. Sorry.
Yeah, but I would always check it by itself, as in the only pedal in your chain.
Yep.
Test it, see if it does bypass mode, see if it works when it's plugged in, see if it turns on and off. Sometimes the LED will go out, but the pedal will still work.
Yep.
So that's just something to like listen when you're testing the pedal to see if it goes on and off. And that can sometimes be the issue. Sometimes connections just get cold, like solder joints get cold and disconnect.
Yeah. Yeah, if you have the ability and the like knowledge to open up a pedal, and you're like vaguely familiar with electronics, and you know how to like solder and shit, you'll be able to tell. Trust me. Like Lucky's saying, you'll first off, if it's fucked up, you'll smell it before you open it. You might even see a little plume of smoke go out the side or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
But I've seen some stuff where it's like older Boss pedals and shit,
Mm-hmm.
and people complain running it at 9 volt. They're like, oh, the light barely lights up and it sounds like shit. And then it's like, well, the older ones, the PSU or whatever power supply, it runs at 12 volts, right?
It's 12 volts, and then the protection diode drops it down to 9 volts.
Which is fucking
so
ridiculous,
it's just,
right? Like,
yeah, it's like what
a redundancy.
Yeah. But yeah, so that would be another thing if it's a Boss pedal, particularly, and I think like some like DoD pedals and Digitech pedals and stuff like that.
The older ones run at 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. But they usually run on a 9-volt battery. Like the 9-volt battery bypasses the diode.
That is accurate. At least for DoD. I'm a DoD fan, so I bought a whole bunch of the older shit. So yeah, that's an accurate point. The 9-volt, if you plug a 9-volt battery in, it bypasses all the power shit. So it'll run on 9 volts, but a lot of the older stuff, I think a lot of the like bigger older brands definitely ran on 12 volts, even if it obviously ran on a 9-volt battery, the wall power supply. I think it was something different with how shit ran back then. Like, I don't know. That sounds so dumb. The way I'm saying it sounds dumb, but people who get it will get it. Like the regulation of voltage and stuff through wall outlets and shit was not always the best. So I think they had it run on a specific power supply that would have it step down just so that it had enough voltage or some shit. Because some people,
my computer is about to die.
All right, so well, we will call it. And
yeah,
thank you to our new guests. We appreciate y'all for being here, and we will discuss later possibly putting a playlist in the description for this video when it's posted.
Yeah.
If anyone needs anything, hit up Demonic Machines Live on Instagram. Hit up Lucky Demonic Machines. Hit me up, Deuce.binary. Check out the Patreon. Check out the Facebook. Check out the Instagram. Check out the YouTube, Twitch. You name it, we got it. If we don't, hit us up. We'll get it. It's good. Have a good evening, and thanks for rocking with us.
Yeah.